Stanley, Scuba, Sailing, and Adventures. I appreciate you being here with me to log another entry in the travel journal. If this is your first time, please hit that subscribe button. Today we'll be scuba diving the Bahamas, Exumas Islands, Smugglers plane wreck. This is dive 4 of day 1, and this is a night dive. This is liveaboard diving in the Bahamas, leaving from Nassau, cruising and diving in the Exumas and Eleuthera. This dive site is called the Smugglers wreck. The story I was told is that this is a DC-3 and the plane was being used for smuggling, and the pilot and co-pilot were partaking of the goods that were being smuggled and decided to do a little stunt flying and lost control and crashed into the water. That's the story I was told. I don't know how accurate that is. I did a little research. The research I found said the plane isn't even a DC-3, it's something else. I don't recall what that was. Needless to say, it was a great night dive. I was testing some products for Orchid Torch during this dive, so that's why you'll see a flashlight in some of the shots. There was definitely a lot going on this wreck. I don't know how long it's been here, but it's pretty dispersed and there's a lot of growth and a lot of life here. You'll see later on in the video I switched to my video lights, and those are tri-lights, or tri-colored lights. I don't know if that's the right way to explain it, but they have a red light function and they also have a fluorescent function, and there were quite a few sea anemones. So I spent a lot of time, well, not a lot of time, but some time looking at the sea anemones with the fluorescent light, and that was really entertaining to me. So you'll see that later on in the video. Anyway, again, this is the Tovatech flashlight, and it's a pretty small one. It's really compact. It's blue. I don't remember the make, or rather the model, but if you look at my product reviews, I'm sure you can find it and figure it out. But very compact, and obviously puts out a ton of light, almost too bright when you're really close. You see when I'm very close to the wreck, you get those really hot spots in the video. But again, it's a flashlight, not really a video light. Here's the first sea anemone I came across, and I think I must have seen 3 or 4 on this wreck. And in a few minutes when I turn on the fluorescent light, you can see there are some other things that are bioluminescent. I'm not sure what they all are. I usually only do 1 or 2 night dives on the liveaboard. The day started out a little bit later, and so again, this was dive 4 of the day, and I didn't skip any dives, and I don't remember now why the schedule got off a little bit, but anyway, this was the 4th dive of the day, night dive, and the dive started at just about 8 p.m. and lasted about 40 minutes. My average depth was 16 feet and my max depth was 20 feet. So a relatively shallow dive site. My dive computer reported an average water temperature of 79 degrees Fahrenheit. Not too bad, but definitely needed some insulation. I mentioned I usually only do 1 or 2 night dives on a liveaboard, and that's not because I don't enjoy night dives. I thoroughly enjoy night dives, but I usually have problems with my ears when I do a lot of repetitive diving. And I mean, when I'm doing 4 to 5 dives a day, if I don't manage my ears, then I can develop some serious problems and end up missing out by the end of the week. So I really have to be strategic about which dives I'm going to do and which dive sites I think will be the best. It's quite challenging. I'll never probably get one of those iron diver medals because my ears just won't support me doing 5 dives a day for 5 days in a row. It just doesn't work out for me. That's by no means a complaint. I'm very happy to be diving. I wish I could do all the dives? Absolutely. Here's another one of those sea anemones. And there's good-sized fish, looks like a triggerfish in this skeletal frame of the airplane. But back to the ears thing, I wish I could dive more, but I'm very happy and very thankful for the dives and diving I do get to do. I'll sometimes joke with the folks I know are immediately going for the iron diver. You can usually pick them out, and I'll say that I'm an aluminium diver, and that of course being aluminum, but sometimes there are some European folks. So anyway, that's the joke that I share. I'm an aluminium diver. Of course, it wouldn't be a dive in the Caribbean if we didn't come across a lionfish. I don't recall why, but we only did this as a night dive. I think I would have enjoyed seeing it during the day, and I think I've seen some aerial photos of this wreck because the visibility is so good here in the Bahamas. You can see we do have a little particulate here. There was a storm brewing quite away from us, but we did have some chop and the sea was stirred up a little bit. But I think I've seen some aerial photos of this wreck, and again, it's only like 20 some odd feet deep, so you can see it from pretty high up in the air. Here's another look at one of the engines and the prop. Definitely a dual engine, dual prop plane. It looks like a couple little lionfish tucked in there. Here's some of that bioluminescent footage I was talking about with the fluorescent light. You can see occasionally another diver's torchlight will come into the frame. But when it's not in frame, I love that luminescent. I love watching the sea anemone kind of dancing in the water. As I move over to the next anemone, you really get a sense here for how dark it is and how much that fluorescent light makes that bioluminescence really just pop when you can't see any of the other divers' torches. That is so cool. As I start to move around here, you can see again, like without the bioluminescence right in front of you and without any other light or ambient light, it gets so dark. I don't even know what all those items are. But there are definitely some other things that are bioluminescent down here. Maybe those are fire coral? I don't know. Is that bioluminescent? I guess I should look that up. Either way, I'm not going to touch anything. If you know what this is, drop me a comment and let me know. They almost look like little mouths. I'm definitely intrigued by these sea anemone. This fish is just chilling out. I think he's ready to have a rest, and he's like, who is this guy with the lights? This little crab was on the move out in the seagrass. Not sure where he was headed. Gotta get a different angle on this little crab. There we can kind of see his face. You never know what you'll find on a night dive.
Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment.